Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Now we're going to do a review of Monopoly Scrabble, a mashup of two of the world's greatest games by Winning Moves Games. This is for ages 8 and up, and it's for 2 to 4 players. There's no playing time listed. That's because it takes as long as regular Scrabble. That's the dominant game in this. So it could take at least 90 minutes, depending on the number of players. However, I think it will take longer than 90 minutes because of the additional Monopoly rules. So like Monopoly, you're trying to score the most money, points in this case, and the game will end, like in Scrabble, when all the letters have been drawn out of the bag and you don't have any plays left on your rack. So you see the Monopoly board around the edges, and here's the traditional Scrabble board in the middle. You'll see, though, that there are properties here that you will cover up with words, and with the letters that when you make words. When you cover up a property, you take that property from the bank, which normally would be here. This shows how we ended the game if you watch our How to Play and Playthrough. So if you can acquire more than one property if you make a big enough word. So right here, if Julie spelled neat and added it to not, making it note, she would take the orange property. She already had the orange property, nothing would happen. If I had it or the bank had it, she would take it from me or the bank. So what you do is you spell a word, and then you use the points from the word or words that you spell to move your piece around the Monopoly board. So you should move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So she's here, she'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She landed on a chance space. So now she does whatever the Monopoly space is. If she landed on green and I had green, she would pay me rent. So that's 900 she would pay me, and it's worth 1,300 at the end of the game because you'd add up the value of your properties and what money you have to see who has the most cash. It doesn't provide any rules, by the way, for tie-breaking rules. But she landed on chance, and the community chance and chance cards are pretty much similar in that you could take a property from the bank, take the pink color group, so if another player had it, you take it from them, take any property card from the bank, take the railroads, etc. So properties are going to exchange hands often in this game. And when you land on a property that the bank still owns, you don't get to buy it. It stays in the bank until somebody gets it by covering it up with letters or words. So at the start of the game, which I could have explained earlier, but you start out with $2,000. Every time you pass go, you get $2,000. You can still go to jail, but when you on your turn, when you go on your next turn, you have to pay 100 to get out of jail. It doesn't tell you if the 100 goes to the bank or to free parking. You notice here, free parking has this money here. It starts with 500, and every time you buy letters, which you can buy here from the bank, so you'll see there's 7 letters here that you can buy. It costs 100 per letter, and it goes in the free parking. When somebody lands here, they'll take that money and you'll put $500 back. So you just keep on playing, going around the board. You want to go around go as many times as you can to get that $2,000 because you'll have high rents. Or you just want to have all that cash at the end of the game. See if there's anything else. You still have triple word and double letter and double word score, double letter scores, just like regular Scrabble. Now, one thing that's not covered in the game, you have the traditional Scrabble rules here. So if you want to see what letters you can't play, it still has that, and it has the same challenge rules. It does not have any rules for swapping. And I don't know if that's an oversight or they forgot to include it. But that is essentially how you play. Let's take a look now at how we rate it. So we're going to give our rating and then our reasons for our rating. Oops, wrong slide. So we said 6. We'll play if in the mood.
Yep.
Now at the end here, we'll tell you, would we rather play this over regular Monopoly or over Scrabble? But let's talk about why we gave it a 6.
Okay, you first.
So it is an effective mashup of the two classics. This does work, but there are some oversights in the rule book. So Scrabble, I'm neutral on this. Scrabble rules dominate, which means that it's going to benefit those who spell well. So if you're into spelling, you're going to do better than someone who does not spell small words or big words to get bigger scores. So it's missing the letter swap rules, When we were playing in our how to play in the variant, I'll explain the variant that we played here in a minute. Julie couldn't play something at first. She figured out something you could play. Mm-hmm. Then I remembered, oh yeah, there are swap rules in the original Scrabble. So I looked it up on the phone. It's missing. I assume it's an oversight.
Probably.
And if it isn't an oversight, it should be included, in my opinion. By the way, you want to know what we did? This game does take too long. What we did is on the how to play and playthrough, we just kept on playing until all the properties were obtained. Now, why do I say obtained? Because you can get them from a community chance or chance cards, or by spelling words on here and covering up the spaces. Remember, you don't buy them on the edges. So we ended the game there when all the properties were were obtained.
Community chest gives you the cards too, you said, right?
Yeah, both decks will do that. They're pretty much, there's not much difference in the decks.
No, that's true.
So it nearly avoids player elimination. It's hard to go bankrupt in this, but it is possible. You can sell back your property. So there is still player elimination, but that's not the focus. It's because, and it's kind of could be considered a negative, you're not going to land on these properties too often. And especially if you, like, oh, I'll add an S here. You saw when I'm doing the how to play and playthrough. I added an S to avoid going to jail. Mm-hmm. But I had an S, or I bought an S.
You changed the letter here too, a vowel, because you didn't want to go somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to jail, so I bought. So there is a strategy in the sense that you may buy some letters or play certain things or make a smaller word or a longer word by adding ed or s to it if you have it, to avoid spaces or to land on certain spaces. But it does pretty much avoid player elimination, which is a good thing. So it's mixed component quality. These are cheap, okay? The wood is wood, the board is nice, the money is, and they're kind of similar colors. That's kind of crap right there.
That is, yeah. But these are cute.
Yeah, so this is, they're fine, the pieces. So it's mixed. Some of it's quality, some of it's below average. So it's AP prone. You're going to see there's times when we're trying to figure out what to play when you watch the how to play and playthrough where there's 30 seconds of silence. We're trying to figure out what to do, and that's how Scrabble is.
Yeah.
So that's very much present. So property acquisition and movement. That's where I can do this letter or this word, but remember what I said. You may make a smaller word or add suffixes or prefixes to it to land on certain spaces to avoid certain spaces. So it is even more AP prone than regular Scrabble. So it did not address game length. Still too long. We'll only play with the variant that I explained. Again, in case I didn't explain it well, normally you play until the bag runs out of letters and you can't play anymore from your rack. Instead, we played when all the properties have been obtained, the game ends
We also didn't challenge words very much either.
Well, and with a younger person or with because Julie has a cognitive disability and memory problems. When we do challenge, we don't play challenge that you miss a turn. We allow you can do this for younger players, them to look it up on their phone. So let's see what you have to say.
Okay. I said this is a different way to play these two classics together. I really liked it. And I was really happy to see the original Monopoly pieces. I'm glad they didn't skimp on those. I love being the dog. So I was really happy to see my little dog there.
Yeah, so it's the same.
Yep. It does feel a little bit like a race game because you are trying to get, around, go as fast as you can. You're trying to get as many properties as you can before someone does go out.
So you'll see in the how to play and playthrough, I make a decision, and luckily I did. I said I better play a word to get around go one more time.
Yep.
Julie still beat me because she managed to do this play here to get the orange property was left, and if she hadn't bought it,
he would have.
I would have bought it, and I would have won.
Yep.
But she managed to get it before me. So you're right. It's definitely a race game.
It is a race game. It does go on way longer than I like. I do appreciate the variant that David has put in for us, because otherwise, it'd be a really hot mess.
There's a reason why we haven't played Scrabble in probably 20 years.
And as David mentioned before, players with a larger vocabulary and who spell well will definitely dominate. That's all I have to say about that.
So I think the last time we played this was when we were dating.
I think so.
So it's over. See, how long?
It's like 35 years, 34 years.
No, we've been together 31.
Soon to be 31.
So over 25 years
Yeah.
is the last time we played because of how long it takes. So let's talk about now. We gave it a 6. Would you play this over Monopoly?
No.
No, I think I'd play Monopoly.
I would
over
play
this.
Monopoly over Scrabble or this because, again, it's just the word thing that it's hard. And when it comes to the math.
Let's just talk about Monopoly first.
Okay.
You'd play this over Monopoly.
Yes.
I agree. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'd play Monopoly over this.
Yes, Monopoly
Okay.
over this.
Okay. Now, would you play this over Scrabble?
Maybe, because you do have the Monopoly part in it. If you did the variant, I would.
Right, and I agree. I'd play this over Scrabble because Scrabble takes too long. Now, Monopoly takes a long time, but if you play Monopoly correctly with bidding, when people land on spaces, in other words,
It's been a long time since I played Monopoly, even.
but the point is, people make Monopoly take longer because they add too much to free parking, and when you land on a property that you can't buy, you're supposed to bid for it, so then that makes the properties get acquired quicker.
I see.
So Monopoly can go quick if you play by the proper rules.
Oh, okay.
So I would play this over Monopoly, over Scrabble.
Yes.
But I'd play Monopoly over this.
Yes.
So there you have it.
I agree.
That is our review of Monopoly Scrabble. Take a look at our how to play and playthrough and the variant that we introduced. I mean, I talked about it here, but you can see it in action. And if you want to play a longer game that's
great.
that's dominated by the Scrabble rules, it's Scrabble,
Yeah.
but it will be longer.
It'd be really long. So get your hot coffee or hot tea ready because you're going to need it.
Right. And that's why I think they left the playing time off the box.
I think you're right.
And just keep in mind that the swapping rules are missing. I assume it's an oversight. If it's not an oversight, they should have included it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks so much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right, take care.
Bye.